Only 2 mock draft Fridays left. This is one of them. Let's go. What is up, Bengals fam? It's your boy Mike coming back at you with another Hoop Daily. It's Friday, baby. Good Friday, for that matter. We're going to have a good mock draft, maybe. We'll see how it goes. It's all up to the board. You guys know what time it is. It's Friday. Mock draft Friday is going down. We're going to get saucy with the boys. If you've been following me on Twitter, you've been seeing some of my one-off mock drafts that I've been doing. The board falls in pretty random ways, and there are several players here. There are several players here I really like and would take at 31, but I think the smarter move seems to keep being to trade back. So let's see how the draft. Let's jump into the simulator here. Let's jump into the simulator here and see what falls to us, because honestly it depends on the board. To be honest with you guys, I'm hearing a lot of action around like Logan Hall, the defensive tackle from Houston. I also like Travis Jones. He's bigger, not as athletic. He doesn't really play anything but defensive interior. Logan Hall can play edge for you. But let's say you're targeting a guy like Travis Jones is the 40th ranked player on PFF's board. Logan Hall is their 52nd, and that's about where he gets drafted. Same thing with Travis Jones. He's the 40th ranked player. He gets drafted around 41. So if we wanted to target those players, the best thing to do here would be to trade back. But if I'm sitting here looking at the board and Zion Johnson is here, guys, I know they just spent a bunch of money on the offensive line. They brought in a bunch of veterans, but those guys are on 2-3 year contracts. You know what I mean? You need a guy in your building that's going to be, you know, your guard of the future. If you take a look, 6'3", 312. He's 20. He's going to be 23 when the season starts. Zion Johnson, they've got a second round grade on him, but he's going at the end of the first round most times. Grades got better every season. You look at his RAS. I mean, 9.75. Super athletic dude. It's just so hard for me to, you know, look at all this. I mean, just look at these comps. You know, it's so hard for me to pass on a guy like this if he's sitting there, because I have the same feeling for Zion Johnson as I do Tyler Linderbaum. If one of those two guys are there, gotta take him. It also makes it so you don't have to reach for an offensive lineman later in the draft, although there are really good late round options here. I'm gonna go ahead and take Zion Johnson just because. Yeah, he's a plug and play. This finishes your offensive line rebuild. There is no competition at left guard. It's Zion Johnson, period. You don't need to re-sign Quentin Spain, although I wouldn't mind if they did. But you get Zion Johnson, you put him at left guard, you're done. You don't need to worry about it. Check it out in the second round. If you still want to go with that edge rusher, I really do like Kingsley and Igbari. I've drafted him here before, right? He is projected as a second round dude. He's a stud, man. Pass rush grade, really good win rate. He tested like a freak. You know how I like drafting them freaks. But really, I think, you know, I would really like to take a corner here. But, you know, if you don't, I've said it before, if you don't take a corner in the first round of this draft, you may not get a good one. I like Marcus Jones, but I like to wait to see if he's there in the third round. Marcus Jones he reminds me of Pac-Man Jones. I don't know if I've told you guys that before. He plays slot corner exclusively, just like Pac-Man, and he's a dynamic punt returner, just like Pac-Man. He's like Pac-Man without that crazy emotional baggage he carried around. And I love Pac-Man. I'm a West Virginia fan, always been a Pac-Man fan. But if you're looking at here, I mean, to me, looking at this board, I don't think they're going to select a linebacker this early. It's between Enigbari and, honestly, I think Kirby Joseph, and Justin Ross is sitting here too. I know my boy James Rapine would want to go Justin Ross here because you can't have too many weapons, right? And Justin Ross is a stud. But the problem with Justin Ross is I think he's like a poor man's T. Higgins, to be honest with you. So if you already got him, why do you need to get the downgrade? 6'1", 203, 90.6 overall grade for Kirby Joseph this past year, playing in the Big Ten, respectable conference-ish. No, that's good. Big Ten's good. The only problem with Kirby Joseph is I don't think he tested. Yeah, he didn't. He did the vertical jump and the bench press, and that's it. Vertical broad and bench. I mean, the numbers are fine. I just don't know how fast he is. But you know what? I think it's tough to get a difference-making. I think in this draft, it's harder to get a difference-making edge player than it is to get a difference-making defensive back. So I'm going to go with Kingsley and Igbari here. So we go Zion Johnson. It's all beef all the way so far. Zion Johnson, Kingsley, and Igbari. And Igbari, if he puts on some weight, could be a 3-tech as well. I'm not sure how his 3-tech moves are, but he looks to have pretty decent hands. He has super strong hands. Pretty decent hand usage from the tape I've been watching. I don't mind Nick Cross here, you know. We just passed on a safety. The problem with Cross is like his grades got worse in college. It's not something you really want to see. Tough to take a guy whose grades got worse and worse. But kind of already, I would take Donovan West here, but I can't take 2 offensive linemen in the first 3 rounds. That just feels bad all around. A wide receiver here wouldn't be bad, but I don't want to reach for one. Zion McCollum's an interesting prospect, 6'2", 199, but he's very, very raw. Matt Butler is a decent one, but if I'm going to take Matt Butler, I want to trade back. So let's see how far I'd have to go. Pick 101. That should do it. Let's try to do a trade back here. Let's trade straight up for the picks, and then there we go. Let's just do this trade. It'll get accepted. In real life, I would have thrown some other stuff in there, but we're just worried about this draft. So we trade back a little bit. Nick Cross sitting here still. Matthew Butler at pick 101. Let's do it. So now you've got all beef all the way, baby. It's the all beef draft, the all beef network draft. So far. So you've got your rotational 3-tech and Matthew Butler. You've got an extra edge player with a lot of juice in Kingsley and Igbari, and you've got a plug-and-play starter at left guard. Not a bad deal here so far. I really like this dude right here. I don't think I've talked about him in this process so far, but Matt Weledsko out of North Dakota. 6'8", 312. He looks thin at 312 because he's so tall. So it'd be interesting if he could put on some more weight. But his grades got better every single year. Put up decent grades this year. He tested like a freak. This is the Mike Martis all-freak team. Matt Weledsko, 9.95 on the RAS, dude. Look at this RAS sheet. All green. He's elite. He's an elite athlete, as they say. 503 on the 40. Really agile. I like the guy, but again, am I taking 2 offensive linemen after they just signed all these offensive linemen? I don't like Jeremy Ruckert. I'm sure I have a lot of Ohio State fans here. I just don't see it on tape as much as I should. And he just statistically doesn't produce. I mean, I need production out of my draft picks. That's kind of a big thing for me. Tyreek Smith I do like quite a bit, though. Lots of production out of Tyreek Smith. That's why I like him. Let's see. Sitting here in the 4th round, though. Let's just go. I do like Zach Tom, but he projects as a guard, and he would just be a depth piece. I don't think Grant Calcaterra makes a lot of sense, but I do like Cordell Flott. Funny name. He's a little thin. Needs to put on some weight. 6'1", 175. But here his grades got better when he was in college. 2020 was a weird year. Rebounded in 2021. Run defense isn't great. Not the greatest tackler in the world, I don't think. But he can cover. Doesn't give up a crazy amount of completions. I think we go here. We need to start building corner depth. Cordell Flott, here we go. If you go beef in the first 3 or 4 rounds, you need to start getting extra picks. Plus, we got that extra pick in that trade back, so we can afford to take somebody there. A little bit of a depth. I do like Josh Jobe. He's all right. Let's see who else is available. Let's look at the wide receivers. Josh Johnson. You know what? I think I'd rather take Bo Melton here or Tyquan Thornton. The reason I like Bo Melton is because he has kick return experience. He's also kind of that same kind of zippy wide receiver. I think he's faster. Let me verify that. Pretty sure he's faster. 9.25 on the RAS. My guy ran a 4.34 40. Yeah. This is going to be our pick right here. Bo Melton, come on down. 4th round wide receiver out of Rutgers. Hey, that's a Big Ten school. You know, he's still got to play. He's still got to play those Big Ten cornerback against those Big Ten defensive backfields. So, and it gives you an option. It gives you more depth at kick returner, which is kind of underrated nowadays. You really need that stuff. We got 3 more picks left. I like Jason Poe, but to be honest with you right here, we may be looking at tight end who's available. We can get Cole Turner or Lucas Kroll later, so we don't need to go tight end here. Let's look who's at the top of the board. I like Brad Hawkins as a safety prospect out of Michigan. 83 overall from PFF, and if you look at his RAS, I'm pretty sure it's decent. 7.65. Yep, decent. Just like I said, not super fast, but honestly, that's about as fast as about as fast as Jesse Bates is. I'm not saying this guy is as good as Jesse Bates. He's not, but could be a good depth piece to get right here. You know what? Let's go ahead and go Jason Poe. Reason I like Jason Poe, you guys look this up, and at Mercer, he played guard and fullback. Oddly enough, for the Mercer Bears, I believe they're the Bears, right? But yeah, it'd be interesting on a jumbo package have a 300+ pound fullback in there. He's really athletic. There's a video on social media or on Facebook that I saw on Twitter. So I went through all of the social medias there. Video I saw on Twitter of him running routes and catching passes, and big man can move. I like it. I like it a lot. Okay. Brad Hawkins is still here if we wanted to take him. We're now in the 7th round, so now we're talking. I'm drafting traits late. When we talk late, I'm talking. I want traits. Lucas Kroll is kind of a freak. I don't know why. Like, he's not graded well here. PFF doesn't grade him very well. If you look at his, he might be on the freak team. 9.06 RAS. Just you know. 6'6", 253. Look at that vertical. Not a super strong dude, even though he's that big. He's got really long arms. That's why. Almost 33.5-inch arms. Not bad 40-yard dash for a tight end, right? That's right around a little bit slower than what CJ Uzomah ran. Nowhere close to what Hayden Hurst is, but this could be a good. I mean, if this guy's here in the 7th round, this could be, you know, that could be monies. Let's do it. Lucas Kroll, come on down. Depth tight end. Learn behind the veterans they have. I love it. Guys, I'm not drafting a punter. I'm just not going to do it. I know they're always here, and no, I never draft them. I did early in these earlier drafts just to be goofy, but you can get better. You can get way better prospects. I drafted Jordan Jackson a couple of times. I just like his profile. 5'10", 294. He's older. He's like almost 25, which is why he probably put up the numbers he did. But I think right here, William Dunkel's interesting. He has crazy grades. PFF grades him out like crazy, but he tested like poopy. He tested like poopy, guys. Austin Allen's weird because he's so tall, 6'8", 253. Really good grades, but he also did not test very well because he's slow. And I don't want a super slow tight end. So let's take a look. Then let's head back here to the first page. Let's go. I think best available. Let's go Christopher Hinton here. He reminds me of Haskell Garrett for Ohio State. You know, middling production this year. He didn't have an all-pro type, or I'm sorry, an all-conference type year like Garrett did, but could be a good depth piece along that defensive line. And you can never really have too many dudes on the defensive line because lots of injuries happen. They like to keep people fresh. So we got a trade back in the second round. We were able to pick up starting edge play, a starting guard, a rotational but year one starter edge player in Kingsley and Bari. We got a trade back so that we could pick Matthew Butler because it's kind of who we were targeting. Also used that trade back, the pick that we got in the trade back, 124, to draft Cordell Flott, a corner out of LSU. Got Bo Melton, which was a bit of a reach, but really that's we were looking for kind of what he is a gadget player that also can return kicks, and I really like that, even if we did reach a little bit. Jason Poe for Mercer, really athletic guard option that can play a little fullback for you if you want. Lucas Kroll got all of the measurables you would ever want out of a tight end, just not the production you would want. And Christopher Hinton for some defensive interior depth. So that's a pretty beefy draft. I would be very good, very okay with this draft. But it's getting real close, guys. We're gonna keep cranking out, keep doing these drafts and analyzing these players next week with Mike Bengals _ Santagana. Tune in for that. It's gonna be awesome, guys. But until next time, I've been Mike. This has been Who Daily. See ya.